All right. So we finally got, FC Scarlet, which is nice, right? That was a cool gesture. That was nice. But is she even that good? I mean, look, her animations are exactly the same. Like, what is this? What am I supposed to do with this? I would have. This is the same thing. We got Duke, boys. We got Duke. Yo, at least they changed the other ones. The first Guardians. At least they had a spicy different S3. We got Duke, boys. We got Duke. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Cash, and this video contains exciting espionage gameplay, helps reduce cavities, and is 100% MFO. Today we're going to be talking about Scarlet and then going into the FC Scarlet shenanigans. A lot of people probably want to see how good is this character. I actually had a different intro plan, but when I realized that her actual skills don't I thought that at least one of them would have a beach so I can, like, have some fun with that, but unfortunately no. Unfortunately no. At least in the general they're the same. Maybe they have the backdrop when we bring her into PvP later, because that's where she's supposed to shine. There's no, I don't even think during the fire day that there's anything ice related at all. So we'll go into that later. Anyway, let's check out baby girl's base stats, and we're gonna bring it up to 5-star because I mean that's, first of all, so no one crucifies me, and second of all, just because that most likely if you're going to invest in this character, 6-star in characters, as I've mentioned, is a little bit hard, but at the same time it is at least recommended to get them to 5-star so they can unlock their mana passive. And if you guys don't know, mana passive for the fire character, fire is when an ally or enemy crits, they will be getting 1 mana. So it's very good when you're going with characters that have high crit. You can put it in your team, or you can just hope the enemy team has it, or actually you don't, because then your targets might die. Also, some people that have been asking me, this is it, not Frozen Bolt, but it's always been called Frigid Bolt. It's always been in the actual game when you look at status effects. Anywho, so at level 5 you can see that she has 1253 attack, which is actually not that bad if you compare it to some of the other giants in the faded community. But some of the characters don't have that high of attack. Even when we go over to other fadeds, right? Let me just use a couple of, I don't know, like Baraka. That's not Baraka. Why do I always do that? Jeez. Baraka is 1226, and as you can see, that's him at 5-star. Her at 5-star is still 12 something. You can even see here 1228. So building up a Scarlet, now the more important ones, right, is that she actually has higher base attack than Rachel. She has a higher base attack than Janae, and that's pretty much the one. She definitely is not gonna have a higher base defense than Shafrakin, but it's still important to note that she has a pretty high attack, so she's not one to scoff at when it comes down to dealing out DPS. Let's dig into the deep of deep. But I do know that her crit hit is about middle of the ground. That's about middle. Usually it's like 150, and then it just skyrockets to like 280 for other mages. Her block is 30, which is attack speed, very important, is 50, and as we can see, her hit is 90, which is really weird, because you see a lot of characters standardized with about 100, so she's, I guess, not as good as an accuracy mage. 100% dodge, and that's pretty much it for her stat. All in all, I think that that's awesome. Decently high crit. Like if I bounce around a little bit, why do you have high crit? But there goes, she's considered a 280. Like I think that's the chaos element. She's not chaos element, she's the warrior element by the shield here. Not the shield, sorry. The shield, I'm so smart. The sword. But a lot of characters, oh my god, it's now she's chaos and she has 60. I can't prove my point, but that's like the highest. 280 is like the highest, but I've never seen like a 200. I think it's like 150 and then it's 280. So even in retrospect to that, having a character like this on your team will help boost up, Scarlet and any other fire character in your squad. And we're about to go deep. Oh, I clicked the wrong. Jesus. This review is going terrible. Anywho, let's go and look at, I actually like her design, like the big frilly dress, her very long legs. Like it's so weird how, not weird, there are people built like this. And as we saw before, You guys know she is 26 years old, so feel free to simp. Well, I mean, some people simp when it's still inappropriate, but you know, keep that to yourself. Basic attack going in, Ben. And then we're gonna have mana utilization as her passive. Pretty much, she has the basic one, not the basic one, this is the slightly above basic one. She gains attack based on the mana count of allies, not enemies, it's just allies, and gains 1 mana if the mana count of allies is 10 or more on her turn, which is awesome. And mana utilization 3, which I have to mention because you can unlock potential this unit and then get it up and raise it up a little bit. Shelter Investigator 2 increases damage by 200% against monomas with fire barrier. Now, I don't actually speak too much about this, but there are units that if you, I think it's the Shelter of Avarice, right? That there are those, when you're doing that dungeon, that there are units that actually do better in that dungeon specifically, and that you should use those units. I think a lot of times people just click suggest and pray, but if you are having trouble, there are units that do a lot more damage, get you out of the fight a little bit quicker. But for right now, most people, if they have a first guardian that can go in that fight, they just throw that in there and then they usually do fine. So but yeah, it just happened to wanted to mention that. So next up is the Chain Fireball. It deals it's just AoE, low mana, 3 mana, not exactly low, but low mana investment. And you can see here, Chain Fireball. It's gonna look exactly the same as the Fake Core. I do like the animation. It is pretty, looks really cool. Looks like she's shouldn't miss, by the way. It's like, how do you miss with all those fireballs crashing on a point? But you know, maybe the other enemy is just so skilled. And then we're gonna have the Flames of Destruction, which is the same animation, does the same thing. As we'll just notice, the only difference is that the damage goes up. It possibly might even go up on the S2 as well. And then it is also burst, 5 mana burst, as we know. So the only difference here is that you need 5 mana to initiate it, and anything above 5 will start increasing the damage a pretty crazy amount. And as you can see, animation's still going to be the same. Even the ball's the same. I think that they could at least, because she's supposed to be hotter than the summer or whatever, like super hot character. I think like maybe if they would have gave her like lava or something would have been cooler, because she's the only fire character in the bunch. Bernadette is ice, Glenn is the machine, Yao is machine, Valentina is dark, Iris is light. So I feel like they could have gave her like lava. I think, like, you know, she's supposed to be super hot, right? She's supposed to be that. Or even if they gave her like steaming water, like she's throwing hot steaming water at you there, or like she causes mist or something like that. I don't know. I think that her FC design, outside of it just being a student suit, which is cool and all, I think is very lackluster. I think that I'm hoping that they don't shaft the other ones. Like Bernadette's is one of the most legendary ones as far as like, you know, her intro to her special is her praying and stuff like that. So I hope that they're smart enough not to have her praying in a swimsuit. It just doesn't make sense. Not that you can't do it. It just, most people come to church clothed. I don't know. That's her. Let's go check out the FC to talk about the differences. The big part of the video, right, is to talk about the differences of this one. And I do want to quickly state something in this video, and I'm going to actually go deeper into it in another video. And that is when you look at, wait, why are the first guardians all the way back here, as if they're not like, why are they all the way in the back? I mentioned this briefly, like pretty much there's 2 golds, I don't count the blue, and then there's 5 black cores. They just added blue. I don't know if they're gonna always add a blue into it. I hope they don't. It's just really stupid. So right now Scarlet is a black core. So in my opinion, you guys should, if you want to play optimally, right, because that's a lot of people want to do, you should just save for whatever the amount is ZEUZ wise for 2 golds. Now, the only problem with this, and like I said, we're going to deep dive into this, is that we do not know when the golds are coming out. In the retrospect, the first character that dropped in the game was a gold. And then they threw out a couple of blacks, and then eventually threw out, I don't remember the exact order, but pretty much it was like all willy-nilly. And now, when we go into ours, the brand new one, we go into this one, and we're starting off with a black. So now you don't really know if the next one's going to be the gold. We don't know if it's going to be triple black, double black. So it's just, you have to be very cautious, because we all should know that all of them are going to have what Scarlet has to a certain degree. They're going to have this base passive here, which is going to be non-scrollable, by the way. So they learned somewhat of a lesson, which is Ice Shower and Summer's Blessing. Every one of the characters in this line that they showcase should have these 2 passives within them. So Ice Shower is if the caster has a removable buff, which is I should go in depth about that too. Recovery, which I don't know, that's not a removal, or positive effect, which is going to be like a special effect, which is the Summer's Blessing. Each valid attack, which we're gonna have to do some testing on that, imbues Frosty Bolt on the target. Now Frosty Bolt, as I said, is probably Frigid Bolt. They just changed the name of it because why be consistent at all? Anyway, Summer's Blessing, when the battle starts, grant frost damage immunity. This is a special buff, one time to all allies, and it cannot be stacked. So in retrospect, it can't be stacked, so that means that later there's only going to be a purpose of having only one of them if you're trying to dodge frost damage in general. It also leaves a buff, increases a target's attack by 50% for 9 turns when frost damage immunity effect is removed. Now the frost damage immunity is pretty much like a buff that doesn't go away until one of the characters, or AoE, all the characters get hit with the frost damage, boom, increases target's attack by 50%, that target. So if it's AoE, all the targets are gonna get it. If it's, we're gonna test this out so you guys can see it, right? So it's pretty cool. It's also cool for the Ice Shower aspect of it, that you can also manipulate buffs. Now Scarlet doesn't have a buff, but someone like Glenn, when we look at Glenn later in the road, he has a buff. He has a defense buff that he can give himself. Recovery, I guess Scarlet has the barrier. The barrier, I'm assuming, is going to be considered a positive effect. She's going to be able to give that to everyone, but her specifically, you'll have that thing. So it's cool to think about like other combos that other characters can use to initiate. That's why Scarlet would be deemed as one of the lesser important ones, because she can't really manipulate the Ice Shower as some of the other characters can. So I just wanted to keep that in mind, like she has a way to manipulate Ice Shower, which is giving her a way to do that. But in the beginning of the fight, she has the frost damage immunity, and that should count, and she has another buff, the increased attack. But with this buff becoming popular, remember, increased attack is a legitimate buff. So let's go back into the battle guide, right? So when it comes down to buffs and debuffs and things of that nature, you guys have to be familiar with this. Now it says it's a buff, right? So it dictates that it's a buff. It dictates that. So as you can see here, increase, decrease, attack, buff, debuff. That's how it is, increase, decrease. So increase attack is considered a buff. So you can actually run, for once in your fucking life, can actually run a character that has, I think it's not cleanse, it's mana absorb, I think. And if you were to trigger individually those things based on it happens once per turn, you can actually take these buffs. So it's not as strong. Then again, nobody really runs mana absorb characters, but it's a decent way to counter it. Because if it hits AoE, it's only going to take it off of one character. It doesn't sweep the whole team. I can test that for you guys, but not in this video. But in general, like, we can test out how exactly that works. But all in all, it has some counter ability, which I really wanted the first Guardians to have. Really wanted the first Guardians to have some type of counter mechanic. But it is what it is. Also, like I mentioned, her passionate heat of destruction does go up in damage. Same 5 mana cost, but it does go up in damage. This one does not go up in damage, same thing. So when you're using the skin, you're pretty much only using it for the Ice Shower, Summer's Blessing, and a stronger Scarlet if you believe in the Scarlet meta. You believe that she can take it home, which a lot of people, in my opinion, are not going to. Wait, sorry, I just got distracted. This Scarlet from a parallel world is enjoying her summer vacation. Why did she have to be from a parallel world? That's so weird to me. Also, guys, make sure that you claim your free Bernadette. I don't think it's in here. I think it's in Heroes Equipment and stuff. You'll just claim it. Boom, there she goes. Part of an event. But a lot of people don't say, like, I should have showed it, actually. I'm a dum-dum. I should have showed it for transparency. There is like 2 days or something like that. It's like, yeah, it's like these, the Summer Festa event stuff. 2 days remaining. So like, if you leave it there for too long, it's gonna disappear. So make sure you claim it, because I usually sometimes I don't claim stuff until like a few days later and things of that nature, because I'm like, I'll just get it later. But go claim that now, because it does expire very quickly, which is really weird. Usually when games do events, it's like, oh, we're giving something to you, and they'll put like a 99 days on it or something like that. Like not 2 to 3 days, where if you happen to get it, it's not like the game tells you that you got it. A lot of people were very surprised. So I just find it weird that they didn't just go through the extra step to just tell you in game that you got it. It's like it's not part of any of the rewards or anything like that. So let's go into a PvP match. It's going to be a tag match, so I'm just only going to focus on the match where Scarlet actually fights, and hopefully I'll make sure that there's an ice character in that fight. So this is a little bit of a mismatch in my opinion, but we're going to let Scarlet fight against this Bathory, and then we're gonna just hopefully can win this. And this is my attempt. I'm trying to make, some people have been asking me for a solo Dragon Blood team, and it's gonna be something similar to this, but I'm still working on it. This team doesn't really do it, but it gets close to it. But the problem is that Adams gets himself killed because he has counter. I need someone that is a burst character that doesn't have counter. Single target burst character doesn't have counter, but a lot of them do. So it's a little bit rough, but I think I can eventually get to that. All right, just gonna skip this because I don't care about them walking out right now. We're gonna let her do her thing, right? We're just gonna let her do her thing. All right, as you can see, there goes the buff that we all have. We all have this frost damage immunity thing. The goal in here, in my opinion, would be to let her pop my cherry. Let her do her stupid thing. We'll clap back, and then when that happens, we'll be able to nuke them to oblivion. So I'm hoping that, where is Scarlet? She actually doesn't have it. That's actually really bad that he got stunned. Okay, he's machine broken as well. Here it is. It said missile, so is it not? So there you go, Summer's Blessing. Now we all have increased attack. So theoretically, I should be able to nuke to oblivion certain characters. I don't know how much. 20k. There goes the Fear of the Abyss proc. I'm gonna bless the people in the back. You're gonna help me, right? Now it's for 9 turns, so this one's AoE, but I can't even do it. It would kill me. It did like a decent amount of damage. Fear of the Abyss proc, killing me. This one's gonna go on the highest attack. Chatty's definitely not surviving that. Let's see. This one should be fine. We should be able to get the kill out on Bathory before she actually does her burst. Or not, really? Okay, good. Fear of the Abyss proc, she's dead. Alright, so how many is she? She doesn't have too many stacks. We still have our lovely attack boost. And AoE could help us here actually, because of burst and because mana utilization. Technically, I didn't see how much it was because I was running out of time. But if she actually does enough damage here, they'll bring both to Tranquil. No. Okay. There we go. She has the burst ready. The problem is that I don't think that it's going to do enough. How much? Okay, so whatchamacallit does have a follow-up. Oh, look at the water. Look, that's a cool buff. That is a really cool buff. If you're gonna do damage, do big damage. She has status effect immunity, so that's why nothing happened there. Unfortunately, this is going to chunk, if not kill me. FC Rara showing her dominance here. Showing her lovely dominance there, unfortunately. I don't know how strong the shield is. If I can get the proc here, there's a chance that after she gets full healed, if we can kill her after that. No. Her Dragon Blood stacks right now are way too high. And with a different team comp, with someone to deal with the Rara, because the way that Rara is built, there's no way we can actually finish her off. Oh, we're also blinded because we're the highest attack there. But it still showed that there's possibility there. I think that was still a really good showcase of this. I'll be done after this. I'm not going to show these fights. That battle took at least 8 years out of my life. Anywho, So it does seem like it does have some cool interaction with it. You definitely still have to have something for the other characters that are not the ice character. You let the ice character trigger it, but then after that you have to have some type of backup plan to finish off the rest, because people like FC Rara are still going to be in there. They need to be pretty much killed, possibly maybe focus down FC Rara a little bit quicker, because her double life mechanic is pretty rough unless you have, like, you know, nullify heal, so you can make sure that it doesn't screw you over too much. What do you guys think about FC Scarlet? Do you guys agree that she's okay and she's a nice introduction into the whole line, or whatever they call it? I don't know what they even call each little subgroup, but she is a nice introduction. I don't think that she's worth necessarily summoning for, because her specifically doesn't have a way to abuse the FC, the set that comes with the FC, and meanwhile some of the other characters will. A lot of cool stuff. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and just remember that every day at the casino is your lucky day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.